Hi everybody, Peretz Eichler. We are about to launch a revolution. Some of you know me as the Reb, and I tell people to join the Revolution, but this is a real revolution, one that deals with practical applications of Jewish law in the business place every single day, through the Business Kollel network, a new network which has been launched by Rabbi Cohen, a posek who lives in Lakewood and is a beloved Maggid Shir and the Rav of Tiferes Eliezer in Lakewood. Now, many of us know that people study Choshen Mishpat from a scholarly point of view, but what about the average business person who spends 8 to 10 hours a day in their business, in their office, in their profession, without being fully cognizant of the laws that may apply to him or her each and every single day, like paying a worker on time or payroll, or all the myriad number of laws that every single day can occur? Well, now it's being made available through a regimen and a program that is very, very exciting, that's going to make these laws in a very, very palatable, I won't say easy, but a challenging way, so that on a regular basis one will be able to learn and grasp the laws. Every Ben Torah needs to know it, and anybody who's in the marketplace needs to be aware of these laws. And now this program, which is very exciting, being launched by the Business Kollel Network, is now going to be launched in Elul, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump and away. People are already starting to learn about it and get involved in it. I'd like to introduce Rabbi Cohen, who's going to tell us a lot more about it and why you should want to participate in it by joining this exciting program. It's actually a 2-year program, but don't be intimidated by that, because we take it one step at a time every day with learning these daily laws. Rabbi Cohen, thanks for joining me. Alechem Shalom. So describe for us what is exactly going on in terms of the concept of the Business Kollel Network, why you decided it was so important, and the reactions that you've been getting to it, and what a person can hope to accomplish in it.
Well, you put it very nicely by saying that people spend a bulk of their day in business, and they don't even realize that there are many, many halachas that apply to every step of that day. It's not just a couple of halachas; there are actually questions that come up in learning and in business that are negeya to what they choshen mishpat, that are very, very commonly applied. And one example, which is what you mentioned before, was that if a person does payroll for a company, does he have to make sure that he pays on time, or is that the responsibility of the owner of the company? Another very common example would be if a person is an employee. An employee, does he have precedence in coming to be paid before the vendors or any other people that the company owes money to? So these are very common day-to-day examples. There are hundreds of other examples. And, today many people know Aruch Chaim very well, even if they don't know very well, but they have a concept of how to put on tefillin, how to put on a talis, tzitzis, is basic knowledge that people have in Aruch Chaim. And unfortunately, you don't have this so much when it comes to Choshen Mishpat. And people are under the impression Choshen Mishpat applies only in a court of law, and nothing can be further from the truth. The Shulchan Aruch was written for every person, and the people who have done this program right away feel an instant enjoyment with it, because they feel that they can apply it and understand it right away. There are so many examples that I would like to share with you. Maybe throughout the interview we'll talk about them. But the main underlying concept is like we said, Rabbi Salanter has said, quoted as having said, that just like a shoichet needs to know the laws of shchita, so too a businessman needs to know the laws of business.
Not the laws of shchita necessarily.
Not the laws of shchita, right.
Although it happens sometimes.
So you once yourself had mentioned to me an interesting story where someone came down to give a eulogy, a hesped on a fellow, and they went over to him and they told him, don't lay it on too thick. So he said, why? Was this guy a Russia? Was something wrong with him? So, he was like involved in business.
Right, so therefore it's a different set of rules.
Right. So that's exactly what we're trying to get people to understand. And Baruch Hashem, it's people who have done it, I feel very big enjoyment from it. They gravitate to it. It's immediately applicable. People are very excited about the program. And in Baruch Hashem, Itaka will be that revolution that you mentioned before. And we have a lot of curriculum things that we're offering, and there's actually an app that was designed for it, for the phone, which is definitely a technological breakthrough. It has access to anything related to business, halacha. You can actually access that, and you have it in the palm of your hand. So it's going to bring it to the shuls, and let me just sum up the idea.
Okay, now this again is called the Business Kollel Network.
The Business Cohen.
And the actual program will be launched in an official way in Elul.
It's going to be launched. It's going to start official launch in a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks. And actually, you've started wading into it. I mean, you're giving a shir now in the morning.
Right. So we did a test run on it, and Baruch Hashem, it went very well. People who started it love it. They want to continue. I have some people in other cities that spoke to me about it.
What are some of the other cities that you are already trying to get on board?
Well, we have almost all the cities. We have people that are interested in Los Angeles. We have a place in Minneapolis that's interested. We have places in Deal, New Jersey, in Flatbush and Borough Park and Muncie. We have people that are looking into it and to actually requested the curriculum from us. And we're building it up little by little. And the concept, basically, to sum it up, is that we go to a person who has an existing shul or existing night program and he wants to energize it, and we give him this curriculum that we back up, that we provide, in conjunction with all the foremost Choshen Mishpat institutions in America, that's actually going to bring it to everybody in a very simple format that can be understood by everybody. And each person on their level, we work with each branch to custom tailor a curriculum that they can work with for their constituents, that mispalim, what they understand, and how much time they have, the time frame that they're working with. Some people can't do it every night. Some people can only do it on Sunday. Some people could do it every night. They have a chavrusa, so they want to learn with the chavrusa this for the next 2 years because it's an organized curriculum-based program where they walk away getting an overview of Choshen Mishpat as applicable to business. You walk away with a general picture of all the halachas, just like people have a general picture in Orach Chaim, Shabbos, Yom Tov, so they're going to have the same concept when it comes to Schiras Pailim, when it comes to the laws of Baltalim, like you mentioned before. And therefore, what we're going to just energize whatever program a person is already doing by providing them the support and the unity with everyone else who's doing it, and also, of course, the media exposure, which we're going to be advertising the locations and any Rabbanim that are interested in putting their location and saying the shiurim.
But you feel that, in point of fact, in actuality, that even though a person has been through the yeshiva system, has studied, as you said, Orach Chaim, he goes out into the business world, you feel that there really is that much of a gap between what a person has acquired in the course of their years and years of study and what they actually have to apply in the business place?
Definitely. There's definitely a major gap, a major void. There are very common day-to-day questions that people are unaware of that would shock people to believe that to hear that these things are even questions in halacha.
But could you give me an example? And also these are the type of things which we would want to be able to educate people with, because you don't want to wait till somebody gets to a based-in or relegated to a dime person says, well, when we get to that point.
That's exactly the point of the network, to show that there's a very simple solution, a very simple halachas that are negate to everything. For example, if a person knows he's supposed to say Yal V'Yavai in Shemoneh Esrei, then he's not going to have the shiloh, what do I do if I forgot it? But if he never knew there's something called Yal V'Yavai, or if he barely knew there's something called Shemoneh Esrei, so he's definitely going to have a problem if he doesn't know what it is. So a very common example, I'll just give you a very common example that people have, which actually a fellow from Minneapolis was mentioning to me, that he went into a class in high school and he told the girls that if you're hired as a babysitter and you sat there, let's say for 3 hours, cost, let's say for argument's sake, $12 you want. So the fellow says, I only have $10 on me. Here's $10, and I'll take care of $2 a different time. You didn't consent to that. You had no choice. Mm-hmm. He offered you the $10. The Chofetz Chaim writes that if a person doesn't pay the full payment, it's not counted. If it's not 100% paid, it's as if it's not paid. And you're over Baltalna. A person Chas v'Shalom would be over an Avera of not paying on time, even though he didn't pay the whole salary. If she agreed to the wait, and she specifically said, okay, it's fine, you can pay me tomorrow, that's a different story. But if she's standing there waiting to be paid, and he says, here, take this, I'll speak to your parents tomorrow, it doesn't work like that. Even on a katan, even on a young person, there's an Isser Baltolan, and many people don't even realize that this is a shiloh. It can shock people to even hear that this is a shiloh. Another very common shiloh we just mentioned before, of a person has to be paid before the other people in his company. Let's say, for example, if he's a person that was supposed to be paid today, and you have other people that were already, their payments were missed already from last payment period, who gets precedence? So the Chofetz Chaim writes that the person who's up for payment today gets precedence. Now, even though we would think the opposite, that someone who wasn't paid for a while should have precedence, the Torah tells us differently. You can't generate a new Isser Baltolan just because you have an old Isser Baltolan that's outstanding. etc., etc. Many, many, many examples. Now, there's also very simple solutions to all these problems.
Simple if you know the halacha.
Exactly. So the point is, I'll give you the simplest solution for the whole issue of Baltolan. If you hire someone...
Baltolan meaning delaying payment of
payment to the next day, which is going to be the topic, the curriculum for this coming Elul, for all these branches. We're going to basically studying together the words of Shulchan Aruch, which is only a page and a half in Shulchan Aruch, but it has thousands of ramifications in day-to-day life.
This particular sugi.
This particular topic, right. We're starting off with a concept that actually is only a page and a half in Shulchan Aruch. The Chavetz Chaim and Avos Chesed has 2 chapters on it that explains very clearly and covers almost all the bases in the halachas of Baltolan, and brings it to the forefront in a simple way.
Will it be also the opportunity for industry-specific questions?
So if you look on the app, any person who wants to host a shir or wants to have any kind of industry-specific question or shir or whatever it is, they can contact us. And it's actually I should really be very clear on this. That this is a joint project of all the Choshen Mishpat institutions. For Business Halacha Institute, Pesach Vadlon Yoni Mishpat. You have Big Rabbi Cohen, who's a famous dayan in America. Rabbi Ari Marberger, the author of the Business Halacha, printed by ArtScroll in 2008, which actually had a big portion, I should say, a big chelek, a big yad in launching this whole thing, was the inspiration that we got from using his book, how he brings it down to simple day-to-day level. And I've spoken to people all over the United States that use his book all the time, and it lights the path for people's business activities.
So why doesn't somebody just say, well, I'll just read his book?
Well, because the thing is like this, because when you learn it on a steady basis, you incorporate it a lot more than if you just read a book one time. We know this from our day-to-day life. If you sit and eat a Shabbos meal or you go to a Shabbos davening enough times, you're going to learn how to do it on your own. You don't need but if you can just read it out of a book and you're not going to know how to apply it, or you're not going to internalize it by constant review or speaking it with other businessmen who see it from their angle, all that helps internalize it. That's part of the reason we're calling it a night Seder program, even though it could be done as a shir or it could be done just once a week. But the point is, it should be as if you're learning it, just like if you learn Daf Yomi, or if you learn anything you learn with a chavrusa. You learn it in yeshiva, you know how to learn with chavrusa. So you sit down at night and you study with your chavrusa, and you learn this, which is basically Shulchan Aruch, but we're just giving you the Maramachaimis to look at, and it actually helps you find whatever you need, and that helps internalize it in an unbelievable way. And the people that do go to a shir definitely will gain from it. But it's a lot more part of a person's psyche and his activities in day-to-day life that he immediately remembers it when it comes up.
Well, how will it actually take place in terms of it being a business Kollel network? Most people, I would imagine at this point, has some type of night seder. So this would be this would be in addition to that?
No, that's the point of this. What we're trying to say is we're just networking with anything that exists already.
Okay.
And we're providing a curriculum for them and telling them that you want to energize your program, so learn something that's applicable to day-to-day life. There's no question that anyone who tries this out, we've tried it ourselves, there's no question that they're immediately energized by the fact that they right away feel that this applies to them. And throughout the day they're thinking about different things. Just imagine the merit and the enjoyment that a person has. He's thinking of his Divrei Torah the whole day. He applies it to his life. He feels right away a connection to it. It's an unbelievable thing. There's many examples of this. So many. Every time a person sells something, every time a person makes a transaction, every time a person makes a kinyan, every time a person wants to pay up a loan, all these things have simple halachas that can help a person know how to live his life.
In other words, when a person is in business, it's not that he's just going to business and he has his business life and his Torah life. This will integrate really the whole person, which is what the Torah really wants us to do. And it'll bring it forth in a way that is clear, manifest, and the person will be able to do it, as we say, b'chush, that every moment that they're in business, they'll be on a much higher level of conscientiousness in terms of how they're conducting their business. Now, obviously you must have Rabbanim and Gedolei Torah that you've discussed this with and are in favor.
So as we mentioned before, there's all the primary institutions of Choshen Mishpat have banded together to do this, and the project is endorsed by Rabbi Solomon, and who was very excited about hearing it. And Rabbi Yafi, who was the Mashgiach, the Zakana Mashgiach in Eretz Yisrael, was just in America for a visit, and we actually went to him, and he was very much behind the project, enthusiastic, as well as the Rabbanim we mentioned before, Rabbi Chaim Cohen, Rabbi Ari Marberger, the Beis Havad, Bezdin, the Business Halacha Institute. All these are organizations that have been promoting Choshen Mishpat in a big way all over America, and this brings it down. This curriculum is going to bring it down to the day-to-day life of most businessmen. Just like a person sets aside time to learn Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, the same exact thing.
You know, we live in a time where people say instant gratification isn't fast enough. People are, when you mention you have an app, people want an instant answer. But obviously things require thought and research, and I would imagine that this is not just to give somebody a shot in the arm and it's, dial a Shilan, dial a business solution like that. You want something that's going to be able to give a person the ability to think it through, right, be aware of the halakha. So how do you think it applies in today's environment? And what are some of the ways, how will people be able to contact you, I think, so that people that are interested, and I would imagine many people would be, as we've already seen, will be able to know more about the Business Kollel Network. I asked you a lot in one question.
Levi, so let me answer the first part. The question that you wanted to know originally is what. Obviously, everything, no one's going to take Choshen Mishpat on their own completely without discussing with the Rav. In fact, these locations, we're only contacting places that
just like a person couldn't study Shchita on their own. Say, this is how you hold the knife, this is how you check it.
Right. You can't watch a video of Shchita and start checking. It's not going to work. However, the video will definitely help you know a lot more and be a lot more educated to know when you have a Shiloh. Knowing when you have a Shiloh is really the whole idea of learning halacha. Obviously, if a person can get it really clear and answer, it would be even better. But just to be educated, to know there's something, like we said before, something called a lulav and an esrig, the same way a person has to know there's something called baltolan and something called schiras pailim. All these things have halachas. But what's really important is that it's available in your hand right away when you want to see different shilos and different options of your situation. You're going to find yourself thinking throughout the day, is this actually what he had mentioned in the shir, or is that, or I learned Mechavrusa last night, 1 second, this might be a problem. You find that out. Now, actually, the point of this is not to create problems, actually to create simple solutions, and to show you how very many simple halachas can help people avoid, the same way if you know the halachas of saying Kriya Shema on time, you won't have the issue of what to do if it's past the time. Same exact thing here. If a person knows that there's certain halachas how to do certain things, he's not going to get into the shiloh. For example, if a person will hire his workers through a hiring agency, he's going to avoid almost all the shilohs that are related to baltolan, because he's not interacting directly with the employee, and he didn't hire him, so he didn't promise him the wage. It's through an agency. It's a whole different story. Now, a person will say, 1 second, but what's the difference? It's me, it's the agency. Well, the difference is that one is baltolan and one is not. And it's just this is a simple halach and Shulchan Aruch. A person can sit down and learn with a chavrusa. It's not rocket science. The Chavetz Chaim makes it even more simple and safe for Avos Chesed. Anyone who goes through the curriculum, this Elzman is not going to have most of the areas in Baltoni is not going to have a shiloh about. He's going to know basically what to deal with, and when he has a real shiloh, he'll go to the Rav. Now, this entire network, so to speak, which is really just providing a curriculum to these places and providing media exposure to them and promoting their location to make it more vibrant, which is also a monetary value, even though we're not actually paying money to the people learning there, but we're promoting them and advertising them. But every location has a Shoyl Meshav or a Rav who's already there now. So we're speaking to them and we're offering this to them. The Rav is going to learn it with them, or if the Rav already learned it, that's also definitely better. And we're going to provide all the resources. This app has links to anything that related, that you can hear shiurim on any topic in Choshen Mishpat. You can review. It has the current limud right now, a PDF that you can download that has all the Marmakaimis, describes exactly what we're doing, and you can learn it in your location with your chavrusa. Any place you are, even if you lose the Marmakaimis, just print another one. In no time, you can get it. If you want to contact us, very simple, businesskollel@gmail.com.
Business Kollel Network or Business
Businesskollel@gmail.com.
Okay.
Businesskollel@gmail.com. Very simple. Business Kollel. Kollel is spelled Kollel. gmail.com.
How do you spell that? Sorry, just
And and we'll send you the whole thing. We'll even send a flyer for your location. We'll send you the Marmakaimas. And all this is going to be promoted in a big way in a couple of weeks. And the people can get involved and learn all about it through that. We hope to be able to have the locations also advertised so every person in their area can find out where to go, which right now we're putting together a bunch of locations. However, there is no limit to the amount of locations we'll put on. We can have 10 locations in the same city. Any person who has a program can put his program on and learn these halachas with his constituents, or his night program, whatever he has there, whether he wants to do it as a shir or wants to do it as a chavrusta program, whatever it is, and that will energize it, and he'll see unbelievable results, because people are going to 8 hours of their day they're going to be thinking about the learning in a minute by minute kind of way. Besides the fact, obviously, that the schar of learning and thinking and learning is applicable to this too. If a person thinks that do I have a shaila here, that's right away thinking and learning, and every minute of Torah thought is an unbelievable reward. Besides the satisfaction that he has and the fact that he feels that his study is real time and it's something that he can use. It's something anyone can. Rabbi Salanter, in fact, said something that someone told me yesterday. A fellow from one of the cities we're speaking with. Rabbi Salanter had said that when it comes to learning Choshen Mishpat, it's very good for a Rav to learn together with a businessman. Why? Because the businessman can understand the day-to-day transactions, and he's able to, and the Rav, with his knowledge of the Choshen Mishpat, together they can apply it to the different scenarios that they encounter throughout the day, where this actually produces a level of learning which it cannot be acquired on their own. This is, someone told me yesterday from Brisel Salanter, this idea, which is true. You see it in a day-to-day way. A person who's interacting, who's in the business market, who's out there, knows that there's a lot of space for improvement, and when he hears the halachas, he's definitely going to be applying them and be energized by it and feel very, very positive about himself. Obviously, this is going to affect his own level of ruchnius and all the nisyonis that exist in today's life, and there's no question that this is definitely going to bring things to a new level. At least that's from the experience that I see and from my feeling that I had.
So it's certainly a revolution in that sense. It reminds me of something that we had talked about. Just I mentioned an anecdote about a corporate exec who was asked what his keys to success were, and he said integrity and intelligence. And they said, "What do you mean by integrity?" He said, "You give your word, make sure you keep it." And what do you mean by intelligence? He said, "Never give your word." Now we know that's anathema to the way a Ben Torah would present himself. If you give your word, you have to keep it. And there are actually halachas pertaining to it.
Exactly. Many people are not aware. There's halacha mechusar amona. You promise someone a present, you have to give them the present. You can't back out. If it's a large present where he didn't take you seriously, then you can change your word in certain cases. But everything has a Torah ramification. You give your word, you got to keep your word. It's special. This is without even making a kinyan or anything. This is just giving a word. And these are very simple, open halachas and choshen mishpat.
Which a person may actually think that they were, don't worry about me, I know how to handle my business.
Exactly.
But in fact, you may not. And therefore, a person who would want to be a good kosher consumer would learn the laws of kashrus. A person who would want to learn the laws of speaking properly would learn how to speak Hilchas Lashon Hara. So we've seen this development of laws which we need to know, halachas that every person needs to know. And you feel that this is something that in Lakewood and cities around the globe actually are going to be people are going to be able to take advantage of and make a difference in people's lives.
And definitely, it's not only me, it's all the people behind the movement. In fact, I do want to give proper thanks, and actually the entire engine of this project. I just had the idea in a certain sense, but I went with the idea to the Learner Network, which is known as the Parnassa Network, and they immediately brought it to a whole new level by bringing it out all over the place. And they do a lot with Tzarchei Tzibur. They really get all the credit for this. They bring it all over the place. They're announcing it, and they're going to start a real media campaign soon. And they're going to be the ones promoting all these locations and putting it, just like they do their advertisement for the Parnassa Network. It's going to be all over the place.
But this will be a distinct identity, and people should be aware of it. This is a separate kind of program. This is the Business Kollel Network.
Kollel Network, exactly. But the engine, I should say, that's going to move it around America is going to be the Parnassa Network that's going to promote it. The learning is and the obviously organizations behind it, the Business Halacha Institute, the Beis Avad, Reb Chaim Cohen, Rabbi Marvin, and all the other dayanim that are involved, and Rabbonim and branch leaders or whatever it is, are the life of it, but the energy, the promotion, to bring it out to people, to promote the awareness, we need people that are good at PR, that know how to advertise, and the business and the Parnassa Network is very, very good at that, and they get a tremendous amount of credit for it, and they saw the importance of it, and they right away, without a second thought, they took it on as a project, and they feel it's the need, and it's a tzarech hashah. I just wanted to say something you mentioned before, which reminded me. The Mashgiach of Lakewood, Reb Nosson Wachpflegel Zechron Livracha, used to say that people say that business is business, but my personal life is my personal life. He used to hate that line, and he used to say that that's the biggest contradiction to the way of a Ben Torah. To say that business is as if saying that Shulchan Aruch and the Torah doesn't apply to business, and in my personal life it does. This is nothing can be further from the truth. In fact, he compared that to the Nisayon of Eliyahu Hanavi on Har Carmel, where he said, "Im Lashem, Lashem, Labal, Labal." Either you go to Hashem or you go to the Baal. You can't be in the middle. You can't dance by two chasanas.
At the same time.
At the same time. So a Ben Torah has to know that what Hashem wants, and we all know this deep down, is that there's halachas for everything, and it's not complicated. There's a lot of simple solutions to many things. Like we just said before, if you hire through a hiring agency, you avoid the whole discussion about Tolan. Obviously, there's certain exceptions, but I'm just saying, trying to give an example. So knowledge is the best prevention. And if a person is going to know that there's simple halachas, he's not going to get into a whole problem and where he feels about himself, that he's not behaving the proper way, and the way he's interacting with other people. So that's why the Parnassa Network felt that this is very important, and he formed the entire branch known as the Business Kollel Network, which is promoting sort of as its own entity, I must say. And it's, Mamash Hashem Shemayim, they're out there. And Baruch Hashem, we have a lot of partners that are getting involved. And there are Rabbanim that feel that this is talking to their people. Many times they try to learn a program. It's very hard, if you're a Rav and you're saying a shir on almost any subject that's not related to day-to-day life. You know that it's a struggle every day. This is immediate results. The results are almost immediate. The person right away, the heads go up at the shir. They say, "What about this? What about that?" And people are involved and they're excited and they want to try it out. And there's really no words to explain something that a person will immediately feel. There's no point in going on and explaining something that's obvious. Try it out. Try it through Elul. Anyone who wants to try it out, contact us at businesskollel@gmail.com. That's businesskollel, Kollel, @gmail.com, or through the phone numbers. You can contact us as well.
Do you want to give them, or not yet?
It's going to get too complicated. You'll send the email there. You'll have all the information. You'll get the curriculum. You get the app. You get everything you want. Mm-hmm. You'll have full access to Choshen Mishpah at your fingertips. And Emer Hashem hopefully will bring a whole new level of people's life. Bring up the level of Torah in America in general. Especially by working B'nai Torah that feel that that void and that connection to Torah. I just want to mention that I thought that we should, the network, the Learn Network, had suggested, which is a very good idea, is to base the 2-year program, which provides a general overview of Shulchan Aruch, base it on the Seder, the way it works in yeshiva. For example, everyone knows in yeshiva there's 3 parts of the year. There's the Elul Zman, the Winter Zman, and the Summer Zman. So a person who's working, even though his schedule is all year, there's no vacation, but it breaks it down into 3 parts, and we call it the Elul Zman, the Winter Zman, and the Summer Zman, where he feels he's as if he's in a yeshiva, which adds a lot to his ruchnius, and obviously, to his protection against the Yetzer Hara and the Nisyonis that exist in the world, and all the things which we don't have to go into, but we realize that there's a void and a necessity to be filled. That we're trying to make it in that kind of way, where people feel that connection, that extra connection to a yeshiva as well. So if a person would like to get involved, let him contact us at businesskollel@gmail.com, and he'll have everything in no time, all the tools that he needs to be able to run his business and the Torah and his life in a Torah and halachic way.
Amen. I want to thank you, Rabbi Eliezer Cohen. That's the businesskollel.com, or rather businesskollel@gmail.com, businesskollel@gmail.com. Make sure to make it your business to find out more about it, because it'll certainly make a difference in your life, as it has made in so many people that have undertaken to begin the program. Every beginning is difficult, but we hope that we're past the beginning, and you can be part of it, making a difference in your life. Thanks for joining us. Peretz Eichler with Rabbi Eliezer Cohen.
Thank you very much, Peretz. Appreciate it.
Sein Matzliach.
Amen. Shkayach.